I'm here with David Myers. He's Vice President of Engineering and Technology at RTI, and we're going to talk about energy research. The RTP area is better known for biotechnology than for energy research and development of energy technology. What have you tried to do since you joined RTI in 2004 to change that?
Well, a number of things. I was fortunate to come here and find such a core of talent already at RTI to work in this area. And the group you saw at the laboratory the last time you were here, led by Raghubar Gupta, has a tremendous experience in largely process engineering. So a team of quite talented chemical engineers. We've been able to leverage that as the energy research needs of the Department of Energy have changed. We've been extremely well positioned to apply a lot of technology developed originally for clean coal to things as diverse as biomass processing and the production of biofuels, all the way to how do you take CO2 out of exhaust gas and either sequester it or reuse it to make value-added chemicals. So we've actually had a core technology base we've been able to apply in some very unique and very valuable ways, we believe. The other thing we've done is to reach out in new ways to the universities here. And there's a tremendous capability at Duke, at NC State, and at UNC. And we've been establishing, I think, very strong relationships across the whole triangle, not all of them involving RTI. In fact, having people from Duke and UNC working together in new ways, and NC State and Duke. So we created the Research Triangle Energy Consortium back in 2007, and that's been an extremely useful tool for us, and we've been doing bigger and bigger proposals together and joint projects together ever since.
Do you think, regarding the reputation, do you think the amount of talent here and the amount of work that was going on here before the Department of Energy really stepped up funding, do you think that was somewhat underestimated? Do you think it was underutilized? Was it not organized? What was going on?
Well, I think that the area is vastly underrated in terms of the amount of energy research going on and what we're able to actually do. I remember back, it must have been around 2007, MIT put out a publication showing all the things going on in the energy program at MIT. They're quite well organized and they market themselves exceptionally well. And there's no one institution in the triangle that could compete with that, frankly. But if you add it all together, and these programs really were acting in a concerted fashion, we're doing certainly as much as they are, and it's no less for quality either. So our objective is to establish these relationships in these joint programs, such that we really are, coordinating our energy programs in a way that we can be as effective and ultimately, and we haven't gotten there quite yet, be seen around the United States and around the world as one of the more prominent energy programs that exist.
When you say we, are you talking about RTI or are you talking about the area?
The area.
Okay.
RTEC.
Okay.
And that's how we, that's how we look at it here. We look at every project as an opportunity to build those bridges and to work closely with our university partners, and as do they.
How does, you mentioned the Research Triangle Energy Consortium, how does that fit in? Because you have people working here at RTI on projects. What is the role of RTEC, and where do you see that going, and how is that role flourishing under the new focus and new funding from the Department of Energy?
Sure. Well, it was actually fortuitous. We established this in 2007, and the big run-up in energy spending, energy research spending out of DOE occurred, shortly thereafter. Because what it did is it, for the first time, I think across the entire triangle, everybody knew what the capabilities base was, who was doing research in which areas, and really where the different programs aspired to go. So we actually knew kind of strategically where each organization saw their greatest areas for growth. So when new funding became available, we were able to immediately build very strong teams to be able to compete for the larger programs. A good example is the work in solar fuels that's been going on at University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill for now decades. But Tom Meyer, who leads that program, came to us in late 2008. Said, how do we do this jointly? How do we make it bigger than it is? And we have a very strong team. It's enabled us now to hire a talented guy by the name of Jim Trainum to come in here and now kind of run the Triangle-wide solar fuels program. And we're lucky to have him. He sits in the other end of this building. He's a prominent scientist who spent about 25 years at DuPont, 5 years at PPG as a chief technical officer and as a member of the National Academy of Engineering. So now between him and then Tom Meyer at UNC, we have just an incredible nucleus of people driving an effort that includes all the local universities, with UNC still being the core of that and having the biggest program, but now many others are involved.
That's one of the initiatives I was interested in, and the other one was if you could explain what you're trying to do with the solar center, because what I understand that you're trying to establish some type of a solar fuel center with UNC, and I don't know who all the other members in this alliance are, which is different from RTEC and which is different from the NC Solar Center, right?
That's right.
And that's one initiative I'm interested in. If you could tell me more about that one, and I think you also sought funding for that through the stimulus funds, the $120 million, and didn't get it.
That's right.
And
thanks for bringing that up, by the way.
And the other one I'm interested in is that deal with Nissan with the Leaf. If you could talk about those two.
Well, let me actually ask quite a few things there in one question. But we look at RTEC is first of all managed by Vic Rao. Vic joined us from Halliburton, where he was chief technical officer, and so he's also actually has his office here at RTI, and just adds to the amount of talent that we have in energy here. RTEC does a few things. It first of all is our marketing arm, basically as to the way we kind of brand our energy program here in the Triangle. But also Vic does a number of other important things. He brings everybody that's involved in energy here together on a frequent basis to kind of talk about programs and to talk about really where energy is going, kind of provide some thought leadership here in the Triangle. He also, in specific areas, and solar fuels was just one of those, works to bring the right people from around the Triangle together to talk about how do we coordinate, how do we collaborate in new and exciting ways. Kind of the first major center kind of under the RTEC umbrella is the Research Triangle Solar Fuels Institute.
I see.
And it's being headed by Jim Trainum, who I mentioned before. And that's a very active group now. It's meeting weekly, has participants from RTI, Duke, UNC, and NC State. And they're looking at what sources of funding can we tap into to build a real center of excellence here, and really establish leadership in this really emerging area. It's unfortunate we weren't able to get the stimulus funds for the so-called innovation hub, but we're not letting that slow us down. We think with the expertise at UNC and what the other institutions here in the Triangle can bring to bear, we can be the leading institution in the world in the area of solar fuels, and that's our intent. So we're after funding from industry, from other sources at the Department of Energy, and we'll be actually looking to tap into foundations to establish this. All four institutions are putting heavy investments into this. Jim Trainum, in fact, has a joint appointment between RTI and NC State, and both are investing in Jim. And his sole intent of being here is to make this institute a reality. So you see all four institutions stepping up, making investments in a coordinated way. And I think we can achieve our objective of being the place one would go worldwide for technology.
How would that institute be different from the NC Solar Center? Or is that sort of part of the same, just in different places? Well,
they're certainly well aware of each other, but they're doing very, very different things. The Solar Center, of course, is primarily interested in solar energy, both solar thermal energy for home space heating and water heating, as well as photovoltaics, making more energy efficient homes and that sort of thing. Solar fuels is at a much earlier stage of kind of maturity as a technology, and it's strictly interested in using solar energy and water to make liquid transportation fuels. So you're not making electricity now, although electricity could be a component of this. The main objective is you take water and sunlight and you make hydrogen.
I see.
And then you react hydrogen with CO2, which could be coming from a power plant, for example, and you make a liquid transportation fuel out of it.